I would say the best excuse I've ever had for anyone that was speeding is when they told me they had a bad case of the diarrhea. Absolutely not. That is a fairy tale. Now, some officers, they go out and they write as many tickets as they can based on the violations. But as far as a quota, there is no such thing as a quota. No. Radar detectors do work, but you have to keep in mind that oftentimes the manufacturers of the radar detectors are made by the people that make the radars. When a person receives a ticket, it's always going to be the discretion of the officer. So no one's going to say one particular set of magic words to get out of a ticket. Depends on the officer. Some officers just like the fact that they can wear a mustache. If you're an officer like me, I don't wear one because, quite honestly, I can't grow one. We also might want to add that because of our profession, we want to maintain a professional image. So a mustache is oftentimes the only thing that we're allowed to wear, and it has to be trimmed nice and neat. Absolutely. I leave my work at work. As with any profession, once you bring your work home with you, you're going to start developing some problems in your home. You're going to get feisty, you're going to get tenacious, and you're going to become argumentative. And that's not what you want. If you, as an officer, see that you are bringing your work home with you, you need to recognize the fact that it is coming home with you and be honest with yourself to open up to someone and bring it to their attention. Absolutely. Anytime an officer is involved in, the worst case scenario, an officer involved shooting, they're required to go speak with a psychiatrist. I mean, there's no hiding and no easy way to say it. Other officers joke about going to the head doctor, but it's required and it is mandatory and it's accepted by the officers. Not that the officer has done anything wrong, but oftentimes the officer needs to learn to cope with that particular event. And the taking of a human life it can take its toll on you emotionally, and it will drain you. So definitely take the time. Indeed it is. There's nothing wrong with eating a donut. You just can't live on them like some folks do. There is history behind donuts, though, and donuts and police officers in general. A lot of times people don't realize that, during the past years, donut shops were the only things that were open after hours. And the police officers, during the nighttime hours, would actually go into these donut shops. They would drink their coffee, write the report, and eat a donut. So when people would pass by the glass windows or they would see inside, they see police officers eating donuts. So there's nothing wrong with it. But don't let anyone fool you. The boys that drive the big red trucks, the firefighters, the hose draggers, the fire eaters, the smoke eaters, they eat donuts too. They pick on us only because they have a fantasy of eating all the donuts they can, which they do every day. I've done this for a very long time, going on my 25th year. And I can tell you that probably the hardest case is dealing with a victim that is a child, because no matter how you look at it, a child cannot defend his or herself. And when you're looking at a child that has been abused, that has been assaulted, or a victim of a car crash, it takes its toll on you. And it makes you realize how precious life actually can be. Probably the hardest question that I have here. The reason being is, through my career, I've always looked forward to going to work. The fact that I can get out there and make a difference in someone's life, talk to someone, encourage them to, take a different path than a criminal path, that is very satisfying to me. When I talk to kids and I can make a difference in their life, that means everything to me, because our kids are what make our generations, and I say generations plural, because there were generations before me, and the generation that we have now is going to be taking care of us later. So I definitely want to make that difference, and that's what I do as an officer. I try to make that difference.